Hello, I'm Dr. Vanita Rathan. I'm a medically qualified doctor and a cosmetic formulator specifically for skin of color. Today, we're going to go through all the vitamin C's to see which one's best for your skin, which is going to brighten your skin, reduce wrinkles, and reduce hyperpigmentation, but without damaging the skin barrier. From $1 to $220. This is expensive and it's in all the top stores and it must work. And sometimes doctors are paid to recommend the product. The product is useless. Today we're going to go through how vitamin C works, who should use it, how to use it, i.e. what to layer it with, and the common mistakes that get made there. And of course, picking the best vitamin C for your skin using our 5-point criteria for skin of color. As unfortunately, all skincare wasn't made with skin of color in mind. Our melanocytes are larger. Those are cells producing the pigment melanin, and they are easy to trigger. I always say one scratch, one bite, or one burn, and we hyperpigment. We cannot afford to irritate our skin. And unfortunately, pure vitamin C, i.e. L-ascorbic acid, has a low pH and can irritate our skin and can lead to inflammation, which then can lead to hyperpigmentation. The good news for us is that there are different forms of vitamin C derivatives, and there are some that are better, some that are not so good, and we're going to be going through it all today. As you know, this is a non-sponsored channel. I don't accept payment from anyone ever under any circumstance, which means all the products I recommend are evidence-based. The other myth we're busting today is in skincare, the most expensive doesn't mean the best. So how does vitamin C work? There are 6 main ways. This is a multi-benefit ingredient, which is ideal for our very busy lives. Number 1, it's anti-aging. Vitamin C can help slow the signs of aging, such as wrinkles and dark spots. It works by promoting collagen formation. Vitamin C acts as a cofactor for the proline and lysine hydroxylases. This stabilizes the collagen molecule. This is why when I tell you, for example, to drink collagen, drink it with orange juice or drink collagen that has vitamin C in it, because that's what helps it work. The other anti-aging benefit that vitamin C does is that it mops up damaging free radicals. Free radicals are generated anytime there's inflammation in the skin. So for example, after environmental pollution, so you've been outside all day, or if UV is hitting the skin, or if there's smoke around you, these all lead to free radicals which damage the collagen and break it down. So what vitamin C does, it comes in, it just mops it all up, cleans it all up for you, and it's something you really do want on your skin daily. So even though we are eating vitamin C, we're consuming vitamin C, this particular activity of mopping up damaging free radicals happens in the epidermis, the top layer of skin. So that's further away from the blood vessels, which is why you want to topically use vitamin C as well. The second big benefit is skin brightening. This is a big thing for skin of color because for us, we have less ceramides in our skin, so our skin is drier, but also our skin is more compact, and so it looks duller quicker. This is why brightening is something that we are always looking for in our skin of color community. Vitamin C does this, and the way it does this is because it's a tyrosinase inhibitor. It slows down the rate of hyperpigmentation. It's not strong enough to reduce hyperpigmentation on its own, but when it comes to brightening, because you want a mild effect across all the tyrosinase at the same time, this is where it comes into its own. And this is why we do love vitamin C for a brightening effect. The third unlikely benefit of vitamin C is that it improves wound healing. So what it does is it promotes the collagen synthesis, of course, but it also increases the proliferation of fibroblasts. Those are the things that basically form the collagen in the first place. And this is how it improves wound repair. So for example, if you're going to go into surgery, I highly recommend that you're prepping the skin with arnica, so it's an anti-inflammatory, plus your vitamin C. Interestingly, vitamin C also boosts the effectiveness of your sunscreen. So whether you're taking a vitamin C supplement or you're using it topically, it actually increases the resistance of the skin to UV exposure. Interestingly, vitamin C also helps with 2 other functions. It increases the production of lipids in the skin. So don't forget, we've got less ceramides in our skin, so this is helpful for us. And it also promotes the production of your keratinocytes, those are your skin cells. And so from these observations, it's been proposed that vitamin C may actually help with reducing transepidermal water loss, i.e. water evaporation from the skin. That's also very important for us because that is what leads to dry, dull-looking skin. Another beautiful benefit of the right form of vitamin C is that it can help to be anti-inflammatory, soothe rosacea, soothe any other sort of inflammatory conditions on the skin that's leading to redness, which can then lead to hyperpigmentation for us. So up until this point, it all sounds fantastic. However, if you get it wrong, not only will it be ineffective, a waste of your money, but it can also damage the skin. Because don't forget, L-ascorbic acid has a low pH, and if you use this daily and you're going out into the sun, so you're using it in the mornings, it can potentially damage the skin barrier. It can worsen hyperpigmentation over a long period of time. So now we're going to pick the best vitamin C for your skin. It depends on the form of vitamin C, the vitamin C percentage used, the type of packaging to make sure it's still effective, the pH of the formula to make sure you're not irritating the skin, and also additional ingredients that can either boost vitamin C or help stabilize the formula. So we've talked about the most common form already, L-ascorbic acid, the pure form of vitamin C. It has the most number of clinical studies backing it. It's highly effective, but it can oxidize quickly. It's required to be at a low pH to remain effective. So i.e. 2.5 to 3 for it to actually absorb into the skin. This is at the level of chemical exfoliation. And don't forget the pH of our skin is about 5. So pH neutral for us is 5. That's where you have the least amount of irritation or inflammation. By the time you're getting down to 2.5 to 3, that is your once a week chemical exfoliation that I recommend for skin of color. Now imagine wearing that same chemical exfoliator daily every morning. For us, this is not beneficial. This for us is going to lead to problems. And I know this is highly recommended and this is what people do, but that really is advice more for Caucasian skin rather than for our skin of color family. In addition, with L-ascorbic acid, you need a high percentage of it for it to work. So you're looking at 10 to 20%, which I definitely wouldn't recommend for skin of color. In addition, L-ascorbic acid stains your face and fingers. It actually decomposes and turns into the fake tan ingredient erythrulose. It also has a pungent smell that's difficult to cover up. And because it's so unstable, it tends to break down quickly and you rarely get through the full bottle before the product goes off. So what are the derivatives of vitamin C? These are the ones that I love. Sodium ascorbate phosphate, which is a water-soluble ingredient. I use it a lot, I formulate with it, because how it works is in the top layer of skin, the epidermis. The second ingredient I love is tetrahexyldecylascorbate. This is a fat-soluble vitamin C. It penetrates down into the dermis and so also stimulates collagen production. Now imagine you've got the two working simultaneously. The other one I like is ascorbate glucoside. We've got ascorbate palmitate. We've got magnesium ascorbate phosphate, and The Ordinary does a very good one of those. They tend to run out very quickly actually because it's a good product. And there's also ascorbate tetraisopalmitate. So let's go through each of them. So sodium ascorbate phosphate is basically a lighter, less intense version of L-ascorbic acid and is great for skin of color. Tetrahexyldecylascorbate, as I've told you, is fat soluble. It penetrates down into the dermis and then it converts to pure ascorbic acid. It's extremely stable and it can be used on a daily basis without causing any irritation. This, in fact, is my favorite form of vitamin C, which is why I basically use it in every one of my products. Ascorbate glucoside is a water-soluble form of vitamin C that can also brighten the skin and firm the skin. Once it's absorbed into the skin, an enzyme called alpha-glucosidase breaks it down to L-ascorbic acid, delivering the brightening effects but without the irritation on the epidermis. The Ordinary does a cheap version of this, which I love. The only problem with The Ordinary is that they tend to have their products in the wrong packaging. So they tend to be in pipettes where you've got oxygen around the product. And as you all know, vitamin C is an antioxidant. It oxidizes in oxygen and becomes ineffective. And that's why you always need to look for airless packaging when it comes to purchasing your vitamin C. There is really no point wasting your time on vitamin C's in pipettes and in bottles with oxygen around it. The next one is ascorbate palmitate. It's actually one that we don't use so often. It is, again, oil soluble, so it penetrates into the dermis. It's pH neutral derivative, which means it's non-irritating, but it tends to get combined with other more potent forms of vitamin C. So it's very good for sensitive skin. This is the ingredient you want to look for. The next one is magnesium ascorbate phosphate. This, again, is a water-soluble derivative that promotes hydration, but again, it's not as potent as pure vitamin C. And as I said before, The Ordinary does a good one. So moving on to the part of the video that you are all wanting to see, and that is rating these products. Starting off with Biovene, it was really hard for me to find a product that was $1 because honestly, packaging plus shipping, I mean, this itself is $1. So I'm wondering what exactly is in this particular product. Oh, it's actually quite nice packaging. I actually really like this orange. Okay, so the first ingredient is water. And as you all know, if you're dealing with an emulsion, water is always going to be the first ingredient. It tends to be at approximately 70%. The maximum percentage of actives you can ever put into a product is 30%. And that is really, really pushing the boundary. I mean, that very rarely do we do that. So for me, I tend to stick at about the 25% mark of actives in a product. I personally formulate cocktail ingredients, so multi-ingredients, so all the ingredients penetrate at the same time. But if you're going to say, like the ordinary, formulate with just one main ingredient, you actually have space in the formula. So here we've got Biovene. This first ingredient is water. Second ingredient in here is glycerol stearate SE. Now that means that it is comedogenic. So you would avoid this product if you have oily acne prone skin. The third ingredient in here is such a problem, is denatured alcohol. And this is why this penetrated within 1 second. Denatured alcohol basically has a low boiling point, and so water evaporates very quickly from the skin. And that's why it gets put into your foundations. Have you ever noticed that your emulsion foundation, which you're putting on the skin, penetrates into the skin in a second much faster than most of your moisturizers? That's the reason. Denatured alcohol helps with preventing color transfer, but what it does for us is it generates more free radicals. And guess what? The purpose of the product is to mop up free radicals. So why would you put something on the skin that's generating the free radicals and damaging the collagen? And when it comes to sodium ascorbate phosphate in this jar, it is very low on the ingredients list. So, i.e. not really in the therapeutic index, not really gonna work. But at least the product is fragrance free. However, they messed up on the packaging actually, because as much as I love this orange color, it's not in an airless pump. So for $1, they didn't do a bad job, but just for our Skin of Color family, I'd say just stick with your moisturizer, just because this thing is gonna generate more free radicals. Second product here is Minimalist, 10% vitamin C. This is $17. So this is actually a very new brand. It sort of had its own take on The Ordinary. So you're going to find a lot of The Ordinary products have been mimicked by different brands, including the Inky List, and Minimalist is one of them. Minimalist is actually an Indian-based brand, and I've done a lot of videos on Minimalist. I do have more Indian brand videos coming. If you want to write down below, if you are in India and you have specific brands you want me to do a video on, please write down the brands below, but I'm going to be doing a whole host of videos just for you because I know that you have different products. But let's go through Minimalist. So interestingly, the first ingredient in here is actually Centella asiatica leaf water, which is interesting because it's an anti-inflammatory water rather than just using deionized water, which is what's very common. So I love that. The second ingredient in here is 3-O-ethyl ascorbic acid, which I love. Then they've used a humectant called ethoxydiglycol. Then they've used gluconolactone, which is a PHA. That basically means it's a very gentle exfoliator. And then they've used glycerin. So I actually really like this formula. It's a NAFE-safe formula. It's at a decent price point. What I don't like about it is that it's not in airless packaging. And the problem with this is that you actually don't know once it's ineffective and once the oxygen has oxidized all of this vitamin C. So I think they got a lot right, but I think that they got the packaging wrong. And that's a problem for us because it could just be a waste of your time. The good thing is this product is not going to damage the skin. It is anti-inflammatory. It does have ingredients at the correct percentages, but the packaging could just mean that the product's ineffective and it's a waste of your time. Moving on to Cerave, $32. The number of you who've asked me to review Cerave products is astronomical. I have actually done a lot of videos on Cerave for you. So this particular product is $32. So it's actually not cheap. I do like this cute little nozzle though. Oh yes, it's done. Sorry. That was my mess up. Okay, so Cerave, $32, so it's not cheap. It does come up quite light. So let's look at the ingredients left. First ingredient is obviously water. As you can tell, it's very slippery on the skin, so that would make sense. 10% ascorbic acid, so that's very high and not something I would want for skin of color. And actually I can feel it tingling on my skin straight away. That can be a problem for us. If something's tingling, that means chemical exfoliation is taking place. You wouldn't do this and then go out into the sun. The third ingredient in here is glycerin. So I love glycerin. It's a humectant. I formulate with it a lot. It's my favorite humectant actually for skin of color. Then they've used dimethicone, which is a beautiful silicone. That's why it's giving you that smooth feel as well. But then why? They went in with denatured alcohol. This is such a problem. This is the thing. This is the one thing that we should never, ever, ever use on skin of color. First, it dries our skin out, which is already dry. Our skin already has less ceramides in our skin. The last thing we want is to dry it out further. And then the second thing is the damaging free radicals. And this thing is supposed to be mopping up the free radicals. And then they tried to correct it with panthenol, which is an anti-inflammatory, which I love. And of course, ceramides, which we need. Cerave could have done a good job, but to be honest, they failed. They put in denatured alcohol. They reversed the efficacy of the good ingredient. The good ingredient itself was had a pH that was too low for us. And this is just something I would never, ever recommend to my skin of color family. So please, I love the Cerave moisturizer. Purchase a moisturizer as much as you want. Use it head to toe, but really they are not good when it comes to serums. Moving on to L'Oreal Revitalift. This is 12% pure vitamin C. This is $39, so it's not cheap. And honestly, I would say this is a disaster product. This is that product where they spend a ton of money on advertising. They have the biggest, best models talking about this. They spend the most amount of money on influencers, and it's just awful. And I'm going to go through why it's awful. Starting off with water, fine. The second ingredient is ascorbic acid. As you know, I don't like that for skin of color, but L'Oreal might not know that. The third ingredient here is dimethicone, which is a beautiful ingredient. And then of course we've got glycerin, which I love. But then they added denatured alcohol. And you might be thinking, but Dr. V, why? Why is L'Oreal, who knows the most about and have the biggest cosmetic labs, using denatured alcohol? And the reason is because denatured alcohol is a great solvent. It lets ingredients absorb very quickly into the skin. I mean, it's beautiful. Look at that. I actually love the rheology of this. The color is gorgeous, and I can see why this would go viral. This is the sort of thing that does go viral. After they've put in acetyl dipeptide, which is a lovely peptide that I would recommend for skin of color, then they used adenosine. This is a beautiful ingredient used for wound healing. It's anti-inflammatory and it helps with barrier repair. It's an ingredient I love for our skin of color family. It stinks. And then they've used sodium hyaluronate. So for me, this is a terrible product for us. Number one, they've used the wrong form of vitamin C for us. Number two, they've used denatured alcohol. And number three, it's in the wrong packaging. So you actually don't know if this thing is going to work or not. I couldn't see fragrance on the ingredients list, but this is pungent. So I don't really trust this product, to be honest. So this for me is a hard no. Moving on to Nippon Fab Illuminate 15% Vitamin C. So this is $31. It starts off so well. It starts off with water, so aqua, and then sodium ascorbyl phosphate. So I love sodium ascorbyl phosphate. I got so excited. Then they added 3-O-ethyl ascorbic acid, which is another vitamin C that I love. Then they added ascorbyl glucoside. So at this point, I'm so happy. They're doing a great job. But then they added perfume, then ferulic acid, and then niacinamide. So perfume, if you don't know, can lead to contact dermatitis in 3 to 4% of the population. Now, when it comes to skin of color, if you imagine about 500,000 people watch my videos every day, and if 3 to 4% of you are getting contact dermatitis from fragrance in a product, that's tens of thousands of people daily. And this is why this channel is so against any form of fragrance, because for our skin of color family, not only do we get the rash, which can take weeks to get rid of, it's the hyperpigmentation that gets left behind that can be there for decades. And that's what I hate. Anything with fragrance in it is going to get hard no from me. On top of this, they've put in, so ferulic acid, I love, is a beautiful ingredient, but again, it's an antioxidant. And so again, it oxidizes in oxygen. And so ferulic acid and vitamin C should both be in airless pumps. So this packaging is also wrong. And they've also put in limonene. Limonene is another form of fragrance. So this product, unfortunately, again, is not good for us. They got it right when it came to the form of vitamin C, but they got the additional ingredients in the formula wrong, and they've got the packaging wrong too. So this one I would say steer clear of. Moving on to Timeless 20% vitamin C. This is $22, so it's a very good price. Oh, beautiful packaging. It's actually very heavy, and I love this yellow color. It's really hard to get colors of packaging right. As you guys have been following, if you've been following me on Instagram right now, we have been working on our pregnancy range, and trying to get the purple color right was so difficult. I had to get thousands of you to comment on which shade of purple was perfect and which shade of yellow was perfect. And actually, Timeless has got the packaging right. So 10 out of 10 on that. Let's see if what's inside is any good. So it sounds good as 20% is a high percentage, but 20% of ascorbic acid, as you know, is not great for us. Plus they put in, ferulic acid, also coming out very liquidy. Ferulic acid, which I love, and I formulate with myself, and they've got the packaging right. This is airless packaging, so they've done a lot right. In here, they've used propylene glycol, which is a humectant, holds water in the top layer of skin, which is important for us. We actually need formulas that are loaded with humectants because we have low ceramides in our skin. They've got alpha tocopherol, which is your vitamin E. Again, a lovely ingredient. It's anti-inflammatory, mops up free radicals. Some people can be allergic to vitamin E. It's one of the odd ones that, along with niacinamide, that you can be allergic to, but is quite rare. And then panthenol, which is anti-inflammatory, which I love for us. I can actually feel this tingling on my hand, which is not good, and you should not go outside if your face is tingling. So I'd say this is a good price point, and the packaging is beautiful. They've got it right. And I would say if Timeless, if you created the same product but with a different form of vitamin C, maybe mix 2 vitamin Cs together, I would 100% do a full video just for you, because it meant that you made it for my Skin of Color family. But as it stands, this product is a no. So at this point, you're thinking, Dr. V, do you even like anything? And honestly, the vitamin C market needs some improvement. But what tends to happen actually after I make a video like this, generally we have most of the cosmetic formulators who actually make these products do watch my videos. They do go back and improve. And that's why we do see products year on year improving. And surprisingly, I was quite impressed with this one. This is Peter Roth's Potent Vitamin C. This is $81 though. So, whew, wow. $81, that is a lot of money. I'm expecting magic at $81, Peter Roth. Okay, let's try and get this thing out first of all. Oh, lovely packaging. Okay, good. So they've done well with their airless packaging. Let's have a look at the ingredients list. Obviously it starts off with water, which is fine. Second ingredient, oh, good. Can you hear that? So that's what happens, by the way, when you're doing this pumping action and the cream's not coming out, it's because it needs to suck the air out before the suction of the product can come out. So sometimes we might have to do that even 20 times, but actually, yeah, that's fine. So the second ingredient in here is tetrahexyl ascorbate, decyl ascorbate. So it's your vitamin C, fat-soluble vitamin C, which I love. And it's the second ingredient, which means it's high up on the ingredients list, so it's going to be effective. The next ingredient in here is butylene glycol, which is your humectant. Then it's got a bunch of emollients, sodium hyaluronate, which is good for us. They've also put in here curcuma longa, which is turmeric, which is anti-inflammatory. And another interesting ingredient he's used is Panax ginseng root extract, which we use a lot in Korean skincare. It has many anti-inflammatory benefits and anti-aging benefits. So I would actually recommend this product. It does have a strong smell to it, but the ingredients are effective. It's in the correct packaging. This is a NAFE-safe product. It's not going to irritate the skin. It's anti-inflammatory. It's been quite interesting with his additional ingredients in the formula. So he's come out of the box a little bit. So I like that. The only downside of this product is the price. So $81 is, in my book, very expensive. But if you can afford the budget, then this is one that I like. Moving on to La Roche-Posay Pure Vitamin C 10 Serum, $59. So these guys have had basically everybody recommend them. Everyone recommend them. Every influencer online, every doctor online recommends these guys. But this particular product, they've gotten very wrong. So you might be thinking, why is there a cap on here? And why is it in the ordinary? They just come straight with a pipette inside. This is purely branding. This is purely marketing. This makes you feel a little bit more like a doctor. This is what a doctor has to do before they put the needle in. So that's all that was. And so it starts off with water, which is fine. Second ingredient is cyclohexosiloxane. So that's a silicone. So I think it's going to come out quite silky smooth. Let's have a look. Yeah. There we go. So it's not coming out very runny. It's got a little bit of texture to it. The third ingredient in here is glycerin. So up until this point, I'm happy, right? Glycerin is one that we love. But the fourth ingredient, i.e. high percentage, is denatured alcohol. This is one ingredient that we just should never put on our skin. After that, it's got sodium hyaluronate, then adenosine, then it's got acetyl dipeptide, which is peptide that is actually good for our skin. And then they added fragrance. Why would you do this? So they've got the wrong packaging. This is not a safe product. It's such a shame, and it's been recommended by virtually every doctor online, every influencer online. These guys have the most marketing budget out of anyone I know. In fact, I would say more people are talking about La Roche-Posay and recommending La Roche-Posay than even Dr. Murad, than even L'Oreal, than any of the other brands that we're going to be discussing today. And for me, I really detest this brand. They get so much wrong. I've actually done a full video on La Roche-Posay's sunscreens, which again have been touted as being the best sunscreens that I personally would never put on my family. So that's why we make these videos. Moving on to Dr. Sam's. Again, so many of you have asked me to review this lady's products. So actually the first time I've purchased her products to do this video, so I am really excited to do this. This is $81. She's actually a fellow YouTuber. She started her YouTube channel of Dr. Sam way before me actually. And I remember really looking up to her, as I do actually with all the doctor YouTubers, because I only started about 4 years ago. She's been around for a while, and she was one of the first actually to have her own skincare brand. And actually when it comes to any women out there who are, doing things like this, educating and then creating their own products, I'm just always rooting for them. So let's go through this one. So the first ingredient in here is aqua, so that's water. Then she's put in tetrahexyl decyl ascorbate, excellent, my favorite form of vitamin C. Then she's got ascorbyl glucoside, which I love as well. Then she's got emollients. Emollients basically just soften the skin. Let me just show you what this looks like. So it comes out pale yellow color in emulsion. It's quite light. It does have a strong smell, but vitamin C's do tend to have strong smells. She's also put in ectoin, and this is an extremolite. It's an ingredient that I love. I'm creating a secret formula for you guys at the moment. I'm not allowed to talk about it, but I put ectoin in, and it basically prevents dehydration. So this is actually a great ingredient when it comes to aging skin. That's the only clue I'm going to give you as to what I'm creating for you. She's also put in NAD, which is short for nicotinamide adenosine dinucleotide. This is a precursor of nicotinamide, which basically helps to maintain cellular energy, repair DNA, and protect the skin cells from damage. And again, this is something you want to use as we age. In here, she's also put in Helianthus annuus, which is just sunflower seed extract. She's also put in ferulic acid, and the optimal pH for ferulic acid is 3 to 5. So if the formula is closer to pH 5, it's okay to use during the day. She's also got the packaging right. So this is NAFE safe and airless pump. So I actually really like this product. This is a NAFE safe product. She's got the form of vitamin C right. She's got the packaging right. I would say it has like odd smell, but I think you can get used to it. And I'd also say it is quite expensive at $81. However, I think she's done a very good job. And if you guys want me to do a full video on Dr. Sam's full range to see if it's safe for our skin of color family, can you write that down below? Let's just drag these guys over. Moving on to Environ C Quence Serum. This is $150 and it's awful. It's really bad. So let's start off with the first ingredient. It's water. Okay, fine. Then I've got glycerin. Okay, good. Then they've got in pentylene glycol, which is a humectant. I do like the packaging, and it is LS packaging, so they've done well up until this point. They've put in emollients. The 11th ingredient in here is ascorbyl tetraisopalmitate. That's less than even the vitamin E they put in this product, which is probably at 1% or less. And even the peptides are going to be at a fraction of a percent in this product. So this for me is a scam product. This is a waste of $150. I mean, what were they thinking? What were you thinking, Environ? Maybe it's because they were first to market. Maybe it's because they were one of the first to actually come out with actives in airless packaging that they thought they could do this, because the actual cost of this formula is less than $1. The packaging may be $1, but the rest is really just praying that their customers don't go anywhere else. I mean, please don't waste your money on this. You know what's a bit of a shame? they actually get some of their other products right. There are other products that I like in this range. And I remember I was shopping in Westfields once, and I remember I think it was in Kurt Geiger, and I was trying on a pair of shoes, and this woman ran into the store and said, Dr. V. I was like, yes. And this was just the time that I really didn't want to see anyone. She said, can you investigate Environ for me? Because, she'd been using it for years. And I think that's what's going on with Environ. I think people have been using it for so long that you almost get into a habit of using a particular product, and then you don't really look around to see what else is happening. And the rest of the cosmetics market has not only caught up, but taken over or overtaken. Yeah, so Environ, I think you're going to have to start reformulating very quickly. People are becoming educated very quickly in skincare, and it's just not going to last that long. Moving on to Paula. Paula is my lady. Not that I've ever met her, but Paula, if you ever want to call me, let me know, because I love you. She really has she was a trailblazer when it came to safe products. She doesn't have denatured alcohol, fragrance, essential oils in any of her products. Her packaging is always correct, and the percentage actives are always correct. What I would say, however, is not all the products are safe for skin of color, because this brand wasn't really made for skin of color. And so you can get away with irritating Caucasian skin more than you can get away with irritating skin of color. So I have actually made a full video, non-sponsored of course, on Paula's Choice, on the best and worst products, from that brand for our community. But let's have a look at this new product. I know a lot of you have asked me to investigate. So it's 25% vitamin C plus glutathione. It's $80, so it is not cheap. It starts off with water, then it's 24% tetrahexyldecyl-ascorbate, which I love, because that's a fat-soluble vitamin C. It's not very yellow, it's coming out very white actually. Then they put in dimethicone. So dimethicone is a lovely silicone. Then they've used glycerin, which as you know is a powerful humectant. Then it's solvents. Now the sixth ingredient here, so at about 1 to 2%, is ascorbyl glucoside. So that would make sense. I would take it up to 25%. I'd say a fraction of a percent of glutathione, and ideally we want that at the 0.1 to 2% mark. So this is actually clinically effective. I actually love this product. I would use this product. I would just say it's a tad expensive. So moving on to Naturium Vitamin C Complex, $28. I'm going to start off by saying I love Susan Yara. She's one of the first YouTubers actually to give me a chance and have me on her channel when I was a newbie myself. So I have so much love for that woman, and I only want the best for her. That's why it's been really difficult for me to review her brand, because when you really love someone, it's hard to criticize. I just don't want to cause any issues or upset her, because she was so good to me. But this is actually one of the products that came up when I typed in vitamin C airless packaging onto Google. This came up, and so I think you guys deserve my review of this one product at least. So starting off with the packaging. It's beautiful packaging. It's very heavy. It feels luxurious, and she's got the packaging right. It's airless packaging. Starts off with water, glycerin, propanediol, which is a solvent. The fourth ingredient in here is ascorbyl phosphate, so it's in the therapeutic index. The fifth ingredient here is ascorbic acid. As I've discussed earlier, I know this is the gold standard for vitamin C, but for my skin of color family, it's not the one that I like. They've used gold color, which is very interesting, and that's just actually more to give it color. So let's see what that looks like. Oh yeah, there's a gold. Can you see it? That's quite clever actually. I do like gold in a formula. It's a non-irritating to the skin, but it gives you a bit of a luxury feeling. Then they've added in glutathione, which is a lovely antioxidant. I highly recommend it for my skin of color family. I even recommend you take it orally. But the signature ingredient that tends to go into this product, all these products for Naturium, is pineapple, papaya, and citrus fruit extract. There is some exfoliation that can happen with these ingredients. There are some antioxidant benefits with these ingredients, but it can be an irritant. And actually, when it comes to skin of color, I have a 0% policy when it comes to any form of irritation, because for us that can lead to severe consequences. It's not just the immediate acute inflammation, it's a long-term repercussions. And so actually she's got so much right with this product, but unfortunately in most of the Naturium range there's this pineapple, papaya, and citrus fruit extract, which I don't like personally. But it's at a good price point, it's good packaging. For me, it's a no for my skin of color family. Even though I love Susan Yara, I love that she's got her own company. She's amazing, she's a powerhouse. She's got a new podcast coming out, I'm very excited to watch it. But she's got a lot right with this with the packaging, with the ingredients. but just when it comes to the fruit extracts, chance of irritation for my skin of color family means that I can't really recommend the product. Moving on to the last 3 products, Medicate is one that you've highly requested. Don't forget, I am in the comment section for 1 hour at the launch of every YouTube video. So when you subscribe, make sure you hit that notification bell so you can come and ask me your questions. You can also ask me your questions on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Moving on to Medicate C Tetra, $51. The first ingredient I was surprised is Simonsia chinensis. So this is basically jojoba seed oil. Normally I love this ingredient, but generally further down as it can be a little comedogenic. So for example, if you have oily acne prone skin, you're not going to want to use this product. So the next ingredient in here is cyclopentasiloxanes. So this is coming out very oily, which makes sense. That is a strong smell. The third ingredient in here is tetrahexyldecylascorbate, so at 7%, and it's the only form of vitamin C. There's no other forms, plus tocopherol acetate. Plus they put in citrus grandis. This is grapefruit peel oil. This is irritating, and limonene, so that's a fragrance. This is a big no for my skin of color family. I don't want you clogging your pores. I don't want you getting contact dermatitis from this fragrance. And actually the vitamin C is not strong enough. It's not a high enough percentage. And then the packaging is also wrong. It's a total waste of $51. The problem is that we get sucked in by the brand name like Medicate, and we think, you know, this is expensive and it's in all the top stores and it must work. And sometimes doctors are paid to recommend the product, but actually the product is useless and could actually irritate the skin further. And that's the reason why this whole channel exists. So for me, I am a little bit frustrated with this product, as you can tell, and it's a hard no. Moving on to CEO 15% vitamin C. This is $92. And I remember I went into Sephora to purchase a whole bunch of products, and this was one of them. And actually the lady behind the till recognized me, and she was like, Dr. V, let me check what you're buying to see what I should buy. And I said, actually, don't do that, because I actually don't know if the product's any good yet until I investigate. So if you're watching Lady from Sephora, we're gonna now do the CEO product for you. Actually, unfortunately, this was a disaster product, but it also went so viral. And I think it's because the packaging is so distinct, and it's, you know, this orange on social media really does pop. So let's go through it. The first ingredient in here is water, then tetrahexyldecylascorbate, so at 15%. So this is decent. Up until this point, I love it. It's also got squalane, which is a beautiful emollient, and again, highly recommend for our skin of color family. It's non-comedogenic. It's the facial oil that I even tell you to use from The Ordinary if you have very dry skin at nighttime. And it's even one that I would even use for your scalp. Squalene is one of my favorite oils. It doesn't feed the malassezia, leading to more dandruff, which is why I tell you generally to avoid oils on the scalp. The next ingredient in here though is glycolic acid. And as you know, I hate glycolic acid for my skin of color family because it can lead to hot spots and it can lead to irritation and hyperpigmentation. In fact, I did a video a couple of days ago, a reel and a short for you, to demonstrate that as temperature increases, the pH of glycolic acid reduces quite rapidly and becomes more acidic and stronger. So imagine you now go out with glycolic acid into the sun, into the heat. This would be a problem for us. This could potentially burn our skin. So this is what it looks like when it's coming out. It's coming out as an emulsion. After this, they put in citrus reticula. This is tangerine peel oil. Then they've also used sweet orange oil. These are both irritants, full stop. And then for our skin of color family, this can lead to hyperpigmentation. This is a terrible, terrible product. And it started off so well. And it's also the sort of product that we would look at the price point and think, wow, we definitely should buy it. The other reason this product went viral is because of the glycolic acid. You will get this immediate brightening effect because you're basically just resurfacing the skin. And so, yeah, you're going to put it on and be like, oh, wow, look, my skin is brighter. And it's going to show up on camera that your skin does look brighter, and it's because of the glycolic acid, but it's also because of the glycolic acid that you can burn your skin and lead to hyperpigmentation. So please, please don't always believe what you see on social media. Go and do your own research and actually just learn to read the back of the ingredients packaging, because I do my absolute best for you to review every product on the internet. But if there are products that I've missed, I want you to have the power and knowledge to protect your own skin and protect the skin of your children. Because what's happening right now is that our babies are really into skincare and they are in Sephora purchasing things that are going to burn their faces. And us as parents just kind of want to do the best for our kids, and we want to show love to our kids. We want to buy our kids whatever our kids want. But actually, I want you guys to have the knowledge to say yes to this, no to this, yes, this is fine, definitely not to that. I hope that helps. out. Let's move on to the next one. Moving on to Skin Ceuticals CE Ferulic. $220. I've actually never spent, have I? Oh yeah, Augusta's better. I have actually spent this much money before, but only for you guys. I don't actually spend this for my own face. Obviously, I just make my products in the lab, so yeah. Sorry. Okay, so this is expensive and also viral. So usually the very expensive products don't get much screen time and much attention because they're just out of most people's price point. But this particular product has had staying power. So let's check. And I have high hopes. I've even kept the cellophane on. Okay, so nice packaging. I like this. This gives it a very clinical feeling. It's embossed at the top. Part of the reason I'm so excited about packaging is because obviously when I manufacture, I'm making my own packaging and I have to say things that I want on my packaging. And so not only am I observing everyone else's formulas to see what I should put in my formulas to make sure I'm the best, I'm also looking at their packaging to make sure I am ahead there too. I'm a doctor, we're competitive. It is what it is. Okay, so in here, the first ingredient is water, which makes sense. The second ingredient in here is ethoxyglycol, which is a solvent, and then it's got L-ascorbic acid at 15%. So that's very high and can be irritating. Let's check what this looks like. So it's coming out like a very pale yellow color, very light on the skin. Okay, so it's very watery, so it's got a high water content. So they've put in propylene glycol, they've put in glycerin, which I love. So they're both humectants, hold water in the top layer of skin, which is important for us. They've put in Laureth 23, which is a surfactant, but it's 3 out of 5 on the comedogenic scale, which is odd because a lot of people are using vitamin C actually to help with their acne, to help with the dark marks from acne. And so you really don't want to put in any ingredients into the product that could be comedogenic. I know a big part of it is how you formulate the product, but let's start off with at least the correct ingredients. Then they've put in alpha tocopherol, so that's at 1%, and ferulic acid at 0.5%. I love ferulic acid and I put it in basically all my hyperpigmentation kits. It's very powerful tyrosinase inhibitor for skin of color. They've put in panthenol, which is anti-inflammatory, and sodium hyaluronate, which is just another humectant. However, for me, this product is a no for multiple reasons. Number one, 50% lactic acid is not our friend, and it's not something you should be wearing during the day and going out into the sun with. Number two, the packaging is not ideal. If it was an airless packaging, I'd prefer it. I know they've done a lot to stabilize this vitamin C, but still for us, we actually don't know once it goes off. And the third thing about this product is the price point. For $220, this is a joke because I know this product is not going to cost them more than $5 to make. In this number of mils, majority of this product is water and it's 50% lactic acid plus 0.5% ferulic acid plus tocopherol acetate. There's really not much going on in this product for it to be that price point. And I think what's going on here is, again, they had first mover advantage. They were one of the first to put this formula out there. It is going to work because you put it on the skin, it is going to immediately brighten the skin. People become addicted to that. And that's then sort of what went viral. And then I think doctors also like it because it is expensive and, you know, the price point that doctors might purchase for their own products, their own faces at. However, if you look at this product objectively and you look at where it is right now in the market, you can clearly see that this product is not worth the money and it's not worth you purchasing. Next, let's talk about how to use your vitamin C and what to layer it with. So in the morning, after you've washed your face and used your hydrating toner, you apply your vitamin C serum and you top it off with your moisturizer and your sunscreen. As you know, I formulate for skin of color. So I created the AM gel, which is your vitamin C moisturizer to use in the morning if you have oily, acne-prone skin. So it comes out very yellow, but it contains your vitamin C plus your hydration all in one product. So actually there was no moisturizer in the market with vitamin C in a gel format for my skin of color family. So in here, I actually added niacinamide, of course your vitamin C. I added azelloglycina, which helps with pigmentation. I added green tea extract, which is anti-inflammatory and also helps with pigmentation. I added in peptides and ceramides because we lack ceramides in our skin. Of course, I put in anti-inflammatories because if you have oily acne prone skin, it's likely to be inflamed from the acne. Plus humectants. because our skin can become dry when you're spraying with salicylic acid in order to treat the acne. This is your vitamin C serum that you can use during the morning. I did for the body, we haven't really spoken about the body and vitamin C, but I did actually add your vitamin C into our body brightening oil, which is for stretch marks and anti-aging on the body. And I am also thinking about upgrading our Cerave brightening moisturizer to add vitamin C to it rather than creating a separate product. If that's something you think I should do, can you write down below add vitamin C to Cerave to just gauge how many people actually want that? Now you know the best vitamin C's for your skin, watch how to pick the best retinol.